thanks for dropping by. Can't Let Her Die DIY. You found this video, you found this channel, you must have strut problems, do you? Your shocks, your struts. This is a 2013 F150, 3.5 liter EcoBoost. It's the XLT trim package, and it has the Max Force tow package. So the frame and the shocks are quite beefy in this, but it's no match for the potholes we have around here. I should be sending the bill to Department of Transportation because the potholes have chipped away at my truck, and now I just learned I have both my struts are busted. The coil on the strut is actually broken. So that's what I'm doing today. I'm putting in new struts. We can do this. I can do this. You can do this. We all can do this. I'll show you the part numbers. I'll show you the tools you're going to need, and I'll show you how you can do it yourself and save all kinds of money and labor. You want to see the tools you'll need? Okay, you're going to need some pry bars, a torque wrench, a breaker bar. I had to use a pipe, can you believe it? And then I had to get out these heavy duty 1-inch drives, 30 millimeters, 27 millimeters. You'll see it in the video. I also have half-inch drives, 30 millimeter, 13/16, which is very similar to the 21. They're both the same, but I really needed deep well sockets, and then 18 and a 15. You're really going to need that. You're going to need a hammer, a real heavy hammer, tons of penetrating oil. I do use a compressed air impact gun. So these are the tools that I use in this video. These are a lot of these tools you have in the shop already. Let's get going. Let's do this. Why don't you throw on your old clothes? I'll throw on my old clothes. Meet back here in 5 minutes, and we'll get down and dirty underneath that tire. Rip that tire off and get in. I'll show you exactly where my struts broke. It's probably the same situation as you. You got this. You do. Hey, I'm glad you're back. Let me get you caught up. First thing I did was I used the breaker bar and the 21 millimeter socket, and I broke free all the lug nuts on here while the truck was down, while the weight was on it, so the wheel would not spin. Then, I know you guys know how to jack it up, so we'll just quickly, I jacked up the truck. I replaced the jack right behind the cross member piece, right here. And then if you see this little arrow here, that's where the manufacturer, that's where Ford wants you to put the jack stand. So I jack it up, slide in the jack stand, lower it on the jacks. Right? And I also have the rear wheels chalked so there's no movement. And I jack up both sides because I'm going to be doing both wheels. So at this point I give it a push test just to make sure we have everything secured and safe, and we do, so we're good to go. Now I'm confident I can get under there in a safe fashion. Okay, now we're going to take all the lug nuts off. We're down to the last one here, and get this tire off and see what's going on in here. So get the tire off like that, and put the tire in a safe place because we're going to need it. Put it back on. Come on in here. Take a look at this. This right here is the strut we're talking about. So it has a piston, has a shock, and it has a coil, spring coil. So it's defined as a strut, not a shock. So if you look at this coil here, the coil is busted right there. You see this part is supposed to be attached right there to that part. Just like the other side, it's busted. That's what the potholes have done to us. And I'm talking serious potholes. So what we got to do is we got to replace this strut with a brand new one. So the first thing we need to do is soak every bolt and nut that we think we'll have to take off. We've got to soak it with penetrating oil. So there's 3 up here at the top. I'll get the light up there. 1, 2, that one there we're not going to be taking off. That combines the shock and the spring, so you don't want to touch that one, but there's one in back there. You can't see it from this view. We'll go down through the top to get that, but we need to soak these down with penetrating oil. We'll have to take this off as well, And I'll talk about why we have to do that. And we'll have to take off the tie rod in to give us a little more flexibility so that we can slide this strut right out of this holder right out there. So we have the room to remove it. We're not in a rush as mechanics, so if you could pre-soak these the night before, a big help. That'll really help you. Do you have a wire brush? It's really good to get on these threads and really clean up the threads, any debris, and then spray it afterwards. So I've done that with all these nuts that I'm going to have to take off. What we got to do is get this little skirting off so that we have better access to these bolts up here. So I've pre-done that one and this one. These are push pins, and this is a push pin tool. You get in there, and they're kind of hard to do because this truck has not really been worked on very much. And that one pulled through, so anyway. That gives us better access to this, that one, and the one in back there to clean those up and get ready to take those off, because this is the strut tower here, and those 3 bolts hold that up, and the big bolt at the bottom holds the other end. You got this. You do. So I've turned the steering wheel to the left so that we can have better access to this tie rod in. I've got all the nuts soaking in penetrating oil, and these ones up here are going to be tough, and the one at the bottom is going to be really tough. So while they're soaking, we should get this one off, because this should not be that hard. Okay, it's a spindle nut, so it's 21 millimeters or 13/16 of an inch. So I'm going with the 13/16 because I need a deep well socket to get past the spindle, and so it's a nice tight fit on there. And I got the breaker bar, which should make life a little easier. That's tighten. Don't tighten, you want to go left, counterclockwise. Like that. There we go. Now that we broke it free, it comes down almost finger loose. And believe it or not, it's a lot easier because we cleaned up the threads. So now the gunk that's in the threads are not jamming up against the nut and causing the seize that nut and causing issues. Now we'll leave it on a couple threads. As we pound on this, we have to break it free. It's usually seized up inside there. We're going to hit it with the BFH, the big friendly hammer, so that it will jar that loose and cause that pop free. The most effective way to do it is to hit it right there. Do not hit it there or here. You're going to break stuff. But you got to hit it very hardly. Very hard. There it is. Did you see it pop up? And that's the safest way to remove that. You might as well take this tie rod in and pull it and get it out of the way. So bungee cord it out of your way. Now, this is a 2013 F150, and the mount that holds this strut is this shape. You see this design? This has like a 2-inch, has like a little pocket in here. Other F150s that are a little earlier, I'm not sure what the years are, but they have like 2 ears, an ear here and an ear here, and they don't have this part. It's like only a 1/2 inch down there, so they only have to pry it up a 1/2 inch and slide it out. You can see some videos have that. If yours is this style, you're going to have to remove the control arm bearing, so we're going to have to remove that nut, drop this down. We have to lower this 2 inches to be able to get this strut out of that holder, out of that pocket. Whereas those other guys, if they have the other design, they could do it by just loosening up these 3 and that bolt. And as long as they have this out of the way, the tie rod in, they can manipulate that out. But they have a problem with being very close to this boot and tearing this boot. The way we do it, by loosening this boot will be out of the way. There'll be no chance of damaging this boot and we have to do it anyway because I've tried and it's just 2.5 inches there. It's just too much of a, we don't have that kind of clearance. You're next. I'm coming after you. You got this. I just quickly put the tie rod back into this to immobilize this steering knuckle, because we're going to be cranking on that fella there. So that's where we are right now. So 13/16 deep well socket on a breaker bar. Get it on there. And there we go. Broke it free. And just like the other one, now you get ratcheted off quite effectively. And again, we want to leave this on 4 or 5 threads because we're going to be pounding on that to break that free, and that's going to fall down and it's going to be caught by this nut. So it won't fall all the way down, because if you don't leave that nut on there, then when you hammer on this, this whole thing's going to go down and it's going to pull on these ABS lines and the brake line. Some of those lines are going to be pulled. That's what's going to hold it from falling on the floor, sort of. So you could damage these lines. All right, there we go. And do not hit it there. Do not hit it here. Do not hit up on it like that. You know how this goes, right there. Want to play, do you? Let me attack it from this angle. There. We got it. Yeah. And that's holding it. All right, moving right along. Now we definitely do not want this on there. We'll take this out of our way again so we can get access to the big bad nut right there. The big bad boy. There's always one, and he's it. There's the broken coil again, the broken spring of the strut. See right there? This part is supposed to be attached to that part. Now look at that. That was broken a long time ago. So it's still functioning. It's functioning in some sort of reduced capacity, and you may not even notice it. I did not notice it until, but I am going to be getting a safety inspection, and I do know that they most likely will see this and not pass it, and I should get it out of there anyway. So sometimes you don't have enough lighting to do these videos, so if you need more lighting, you can always steal the pretty pink one from your wife's craft table, but make sure you put it back before she realizes it. Anyway, come on in here, I'll show you. I'm going to get this nut off the tower here, the strut tower. There's 3 nuts on the top that holds that strut in place. I got my 15mm socket on the one right there. You got it in the camera, and this is the easiest way to get that one. The other 2, it's easier to get it from the wheel well, but this is the harder one to get, so we're going to go right after this guy right now. We got some movement on it, folks. So I got the same 15mm deep well socket, put it on one of these bad boys, and this, I got this pivoting, ratcheting breaker bar, right? So these are torqued to, I believe, 35 foot-pounds, so they're not too hard, but they do have a tendency to get very, very rusty and corroded. So you really need to soak it in penetrating oil, which I've said 3 or 4 times, so I think that's enough. You guys get the picture. Makes life much easier. And let's try this one. It's 2 out of 3. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Excellent. Okay, so we got that. Now I want to leave that one a little bit tight because I want it to hold this strut in as high as a position as I can, because I need to pry the bottom up over that 2-inch. So this will hold it up there for me. You got this. You do. You got it one nut at a time. Just taking bolts off, putting bolts back on. Taking nuts off, putting nuts back on. You got this. With this video, now you really do. Let's go. Okay, now we're at the part that's intimidating. This guy is kind of intimidating me. This is one big bolt with a nut, and it's in a rusted area, so I'm putting lubrication everywhere, all around there. Again, this is like the fourth time I've done it, and it's been cleaned as best as I could, and it's scary and it's intimidating because it's torqued down at 406 foot-pounds. 406 foot-pounds is how tight Ford wants that bolt to be. 406 foot-pounds. My torque wrench only goes up to 150 foot-pounds. But anyway, that's what we're dealing with. That's what Ford has us playing around with here today. Anyway, no sense whining about it. Let's get at it. We're going to get out the big tools here. The compressed air impact gun here. And we got a 30 millimeter, right? And this thing is super loud, and I'm trying to keep my hearing. So, let's do it. Yeah, just what I thought. It ain't doing it. My impact gun is not all that heavy duty. Just like I thought, it did not budge. And anyway, I powered up the compressor again, full power. This is set on full power, and I sprayed it again. Give it another shot. Okay, it's not coming off. Do not panic. We have Plan B. We're activating Plan B. Plan B, heavy duty equipment. 30 millimeter extender, and we're going with manpower, or human power, whatever you want to call it. Golly gee. And I'll see what I'm made out of here. It's a good thing. I do like a little bit of fight. So, okay. She's a mother lover. And we do have a Plan C. I'm activating Plan C. Okay, meet Plan C. This is a pipe. We're going to put a pipe on the end of this, give myself more leverage when I'm cranking this over. Hopefully I don't break anything. This happens to be off of a set of barbells, right? Steel rod in there. This is the grip part. It's not very strong, but hopefully it'll do the job. So we put it on there like that, and then surely this will be enough. Okay, I felt something move, or something's about to break. One of the two. Let's try this again. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh my pipe's breaking. Try it again. Come on, baby. We're getting it. We are getting it. Plan C is kicking in. There. That is a good 3-foot pipe on a 2-foot bar. And I think it turned and it did not break the bolt. The bolt is super big, so I don't think I can break it. But that is your 400 foot-pound tightness on that, which is quite difficult to deal with. Now we'll try it with the compressed air impact gun. Now, surely Plan A can take us the rest of the way. Surely. Put it on there. With the light. There's my light. And that's that way. Okay, the whole bolt is spinning. The bolt is spinning on this side, so it loosened up some, but it's spinning the whole bolt. So now, what we got to do is we got to put a 27-inch on this to hold the bolt from moving on this side. Position that against, maybe against the floor or against that there, like that. Sort of like that. And now, let's see if this will work. Come on, baby. Yeah! Success! Look at the size of that. And the bolt too. Can you see the bolt in there? It's galvanized, so it's not rusted. Right there. It's not rusted at all. And that is one mother lover of a bolt. 400 foot-pounds. Not much fun, but we got it. Now we got to push that bolt out. Right? Whew. Time for a break. Now sometimes these bolts can be seized in there, right in there, even though they're galvanized. But this one looks like it's okay. So we need to punch it through. And this is a screwdriver that I've destroyed by punching before. So it is now my punch. That's what I use it for. I love that sound. And there you go. There's your big boy. 406 foot-pounds torqued. And it's not rusted at all. We'll be putting that back on, so nothing wrong with those threads. Time for lunch. I'm starved. I had the jack under this arm to hold the weight, so now I can control how low that goes. Right? So now we no longer need this nut holding the whole thing up. So we pry down on that a little bit, remove the nut, let that go up, and the jack now has the weight. Right? Now, what we do is we got to see how low we can go. How low can we go? How low can we go? And we can go low in this channel, believe me, we do go low. But, all right, concentrate on what you're doing and lower that jack. Okay. And that goes down low and out of the way. Now we got the boot out of the way. Because of this, we may have to loosen that up and drop it down even further, but we'll see. We have the clearance away from the boot of the CV shaft here, but I can only get it about an inch, pry it about an inch I need another inch of clearance for dropping this arm down. And it's being held by this sway bar link right there, so we have to take off that. Unfortunately, we have to with this model truck. With this huge bulbous receiver of the strut that we have on this truck. But if yours is like that, then you're gonna have to remove this as well. Anyway, that's what we gotta do. That's what we gotta do. Simple, we've done it, we can do it. You got this. Let's go. Cranked it loose. We do not want the whole spindle spinning. And guess what? We got the whole spindle spinning. Okay, you gonna play around with me, hey? All right, no, we can deal with it. I got an 18mm ratcheting box wrench. And to hold the spindle tight, I have an 8mm. So this is 18mm, 8mm to hold the spindle like that. And we clean the threads, so this should get easier and easier. I hope. And it gets tighter again. That's what happened on the other side. It's weird how it gets tight right at the end like that. And this is getting lower and lower every time. We freed up half an inch, but I believe I have to take this right off, and that's going to push this off here eventually. Okay, I cranked this as much as I could until this 8mm slipped off the top, and then I was able to push down. I got another inch of clearance, so I think I might be able to do it now. So get your prior in there. Pry bar. There, I am so close. And then if we do this, there, we got it. Okay, we got it. Now we can loosen these up, because that's the only thing holding it. We got it out. Excellent. There's a little pressure on there, but it's not too much. This is loosening. We don't even need these nuts because the new strut comes with new nuts. That one's off. The back one was off. So it's just this little guy. Coming up to a big moment here, folks. This is a big moment. I don't think it'll fall on its own. I've been wrong before. Okay, that should be nothing holding that in now. A little bit of muscle, and yeah, we got it. The mother lover busted strut. And where's it busted? Right there. I don't like it. I don't like it. You know what that means? This left me high and dry with no struts, hitting the potholes. I want my struts to last longer than that. Come with me. I've relocated you to my workbench now, because look at this strut. This is the new one that's going on, and this is the old one that you just saw me take off. This looks really good. It even has the boot here that protects the piston on the inside, so that's nice. This is a quality replacement part. This, I don't like. It is terrible. Come on, Ford. You gotta do a better job than that. You can't have the coils breaking, the spring breaking. Come on. Anyway, the good news is I fired up the incinerator. I don't need this. I don't want it hanging around. It's a bad nightmare. Let's get rid of it. Yeah, the incinerator is humming. This strut is out of here. Gone. That is so much fun. Now this strut is staying here. It's going on my truck. I love this baby. It's worth its weight in gold. Okay, I just cleaned up all the rust and stuff inside this little holder for the strut, and up in there. I cleaned all that up in there where we're going to put on the new part. And while I had the strut off, I like to undercoat. Now, I got a video on undercoating, but I'll give you the quick down low on this. This is a thin oil. I like to shoot this inside the frame. In any of these access holes, like there, in there, in there, in there, all through the frame, so it lives inside the frame and creeps along the crevices. This is a little thicker, doesn't creep as well, but it sticks. So any area that will be washed off by salt all around here and all that, that's fluid film I put on the outside where it's going to be in contact with the elements. So a good creeper, a good sticker, and that's what I put on. Every job, every time I'm in somewhere like this. That's enough of that. So now we got to prepare for this bad boy to go back on. This is made by Detroit Axle. Monroe makes a good one as well. They look identical. They do. So I went with this one because it was a little bit cheaper. I will put the links in my video description. You can go with either one, I would say. And this strut goes up. We've got to line up those 3 holes, and it's kind of hard to do. Oh my gosh, I got it right away. That's nice. And once you get it up there, get a nut on one of those to hold it in place for you. At least one. And then there. So get them all on there. Finger tight. Now these are locking nuts. They have a piece of plastic on the inside that kind of locks them in. So you can screw them on. Their finger loose until they hit that plastic. And then that plastic serves to deform to the threads and hold it so it doesn't jiggle loose. But that's why it goes, it's tough. So that'll hold that, and now we got to get the bottom in. That's going to require a little bit of prying, I believe. So take our pry bar. It doesn't look very good. Okay, there. We got it almost positioned. Now I think a little prying should do the trick. There. Now I can go back up. And we can actually crank that up into position now. Put the jack on the control arm. Should be able to manipulate that into position. It's looking good. It's looking real good. Now it's really important, since we're using the same nut, to put blue thread locker. I put thread locker on the bolt, and I got thread locker on the nut to lock that nut in place. Otherwise you'd have to buy a whole new nut, and who knows how much Ford would charge for that. But, so that is all ready to go. Put that down in here, and we will line up this hole with that hole, and we'll go from there. So with your handy dandy jack, you can crank up a little bit, sort of like this. Look at that. And at some point that's going to fit perfectly in there. Sort of like that. bolts need a little persuasion. Meet Mr. Persuasion. And now we can put the nut on with the thread locker already applied. Bada bing, bada boom. Look at that. Finger loose. That's how well we cleaned it up. That was so tight. Now we're getting to where the plastic part is inside there. And I can still almost do it with my finger. So it definitely needs to be put on tight, and it definitely needs a blue thread locker to lock it in place. So I've cleaned up all the rust and gunk that's on this surface here, and we're about to marry this surface up with the ball joint there. So I am going to slide a little bit of anti-seize grease on here. Just on this part, not down the hole there, just where this rotates on there so it prevents seizing again. And also for the other one, the tie rod end, I've cleaned that. Same similar part that marries up to that. Tie rod in. Just to add, I find this anti-seize grease really good. In case I got to get this off another time. And it stops friction. It's a lubricant. It's grease, of course, so it helps. So we get that. Now we got to put this up on there and screw on the nut. Like that. And I will pry it down. Like this. Oh, there. Use the pry. And we throw that nut on there like that. This up, and I believe torque specs on this is 85 foot-pounds, and but that pry bar is holding down on it so that the spindle does not spin. And now we will tighten up the sway bar link right there. So if the spindle is spinning on you and you can't immobilize it with the 8mm little wrench, you can go underneath here. There is a little area to put a vice grips on, right like that. Clamp it in like that, and see if that immobilizes it once those vice grips hit something like that. There. Until there's enough of the top so we can go back with the 8mm if we need to. And now I have enough room to put the 8mm box wrench on the spindle tip. And that way I won't damage the boot with the vice grips as I get close to that boot. And now she's going easy again. It's a little finicky, this guy. That's why I tried to avoid taking him out. But we got it, and you'll get it. And we'll put our tie rod in, back in place. Sort of like that. And screw that on. Okay, the tie rod end nut is torqued down to 85 foot-pounds, which is right there. And this one here as well is also 85. Right? That's torqued down to 85 and 85. And I believe this one's torqued down to 49 foot-pounds, which is about like that, just good and tight. And these are 35 foot-pounds. Let's do those next. Okay, what they want you to do when you do the final tightening up of this strut, they want you to put all the weight on this tire, right? So it's in its proper position, taking the weight of the vehicle. So what I've done is I jacked up on this control arm until this jack stand is no longer taking the weight. So this jack has all the weight. So the full weight of the truck is on this strut. So it's seating it into the strut tower and into the bottom there. So that's what they want, the weight on it, and then tighten it up. So that's what we're doing now. These are 35 foot-pounds, and this big boy down here is 406. I'll talk about that when I get there. Let's do these. So with the weight of the truck pushing up on that strut, now we will seat these. Crank these down. Okay, now that we have the weight of the truck on this jack, so that this strut is taking the whole weight of the vehicle, we will tighten down that final man bolt, the big boy. So I got my compressed air impact gun here, set on as high as it can go. And this is going to stop the bolt from rotating while I tighten up the nut. So in goes the air plug. And away we go. Now we got to torque down that big nut to 406 foot-pounds. The only way we can do that is go with option C, just the same way we took it off. So we know how tight it was because we got it off with manpower, and we're going to put it back on the same way. So we got that, a 30 millimeter, and we got our pipe. That was all I could do to get that to turn. So I will turn it exactly the same way I found it. That's how tight the air hammer got it, which is not tight enough. That's about it. That's about 400 and 406. That's as tight as I can get it. 406. That's good enough for me. Remember, we do have the thread locker on there as well, so we're good. Let's go. You got this. You do. And don't forget to torque down your lug nuts to 150 foot-pounds. And then test them. You do it in a crisscross pattern, so this one, then this one, and this one. It pulls that tire on straight and honest. And when I'm talking about being honest, if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. Give me a few of your comments. I'd love to hear your comments. And just smash that subscription button. Really helps me out. Helps me out with the algorithm, and it says people like my videos. So, and now I get to take my truck out on the dirt roads and tear it up a little bit and see if I can break it all over again. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.
Now what?